Guys, the toilet started sprouting water up my booty. Subscribe. Hey homies, and welcome back to Tomi's World. You already know it's your girl Tomi, and I am back with another video. So in today's video, I wanted to share with you my top 10 biggest culture shock moments when I moved over here to Japan. And I decided that it would be super cool if I made it go in order. So I'm going to be telling you, like, the first time I was like, what the f? And then the second time, and then the third time, and then the fourth time, in that order, okay? Because when I moved over here, there were so many things that were different from what I was used to back home in Jamaica. But to be fair, I was coming from a third world country into a first world country. But even when I lived abroad in America for like 3 months of my life, I didn't experience any of these. Anyway, let us get into it. Oh wait, come back. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because every interaction that you guys make with this video helps our little channel to grow. Thank you guys so much in advance. Okay, let's get into it. The first one is the toilet. The toilet was the first culture shock moment I had when I came to Japan. Now listen to this before you judge me, okay? Japanese toilets are a lot different from Western toilets. They're very, very fancy, and I'm not a fancy type of girl. So those toilets shocked the hell out of me. Let me give you the backstory. When I was on the plane for like 14 hours coming from America to Japan, I did not use the toilet at all. My grandma told me that, like, if you poop or pee in the toilet, then it drops the water on people, like, down on the bottom. So yeah, I was old enough because I was like 20, but still, this childhood traumatic memory made me not want to pee. So as soon as I got off the plane, I rushed to the bathroom in Japan, I think it was Haneda Airport, I don't remember, and I go to pee. Then I'm finished and I'm trying to flush the toilet. I can't find the button because everything is in a different language and there are like 1,000 buttons there. So I end up pressing one random button because I'm like, okay, let's just try pressing buttons. Guys, the toilet started sprouting water up my booty. I was literally sitting there like, what is happening? I was so shocked. I feel like I'm reliving this. Listen, that was the first moment the culture shocked me over here, okay? And I was so like scared to get up because I didn't want the water to like go sprouting all over. So I'm like, how do I stop it? And then I started making the water go harder and into different parts of my body. Japanese toilets were the first thing that gave me culture shock here, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. Okay, so number 2, Tokyo. Tokyo was my second culture shock moment. So if you guys know, when you come over on the JET program, you have to do a 3-day orientation in Tokyo. When I was coming over, I don't know what I expected, but when that first night came and they were like,
yeah, go ahead, but make sure you come back because you have orientation in the morning.
I go out into the streets of Tokyo and I suddenly started feeling so overwhelmed. There were people everywhere. So many lights, so many things happening, and as a rural Jamaican gal, I was not used to that sort of energy. I was so overwhelmed. It was way too much for me. So many sounds, lights, smells, so many things were happening. I was just like, and all my friends were like, come on, Tomi, I'm trying to be brave. I don't want to show everyone how shocked I was and how out of it I was. So I'm just trying to play it cool. But Tokyo was definitely my second culture shock moment, because Tokyo, baby, was way too much for your girl. Way too much. And I think that's where like my love for Osaka came in, because Osaka was a big city, but it still made me feel like I belonged. Tokyo was a huge city that made me feel like I don't belong in Japan at all, which was strange because normally foreigners love Tokyo, but me, nah, no. Number 3. There is no English here. I do not know what I was expecting, honestly. But when I moved to Japan, I was one of the most intelligent people that I knew. I was able to read, write, and do so many things at such a young age. People used to be like, "You're so smart." You know? When I came to Japan and I was out there in the streets of Tokyo, I suddenly realized that there was no English. I couldn't read anything. I couldn't understand most things. And then I just had to start playing it by ear. In the back of your mind, you know that there is no English here. And you know that it's going to be a different language. But when you actually come and you see that there is no English and you see the other language, you're like, whoa, what the hell? Bro, I was like, I'm stupid now, okay? Number 4. The food. The food was my 4th culture shock moment because when I came to Japan, I wasn't open-minded enough, I think. I wasn't prepared to try new things. I was just going around looking for the things that I already knew about, you know? And then I started to get really sick of the food so early on, like within a month. I was just crying. I remember one day I came home and I was trying to call people back home, but everyone was sleeping, and I got so frustrated and I just started crying, looking in my fridge. The fridge door was open and I'm crying my eyes out. I'm like, I just want some rice and peas and chicken. It was not a very pretty sight, because I don't pretty cry. My cry is very ugly. It's like, ugh. You don't want to see me cry, okay? So let's just not talk about me crying. Okay, point number 5. My 5th culture shock moment was the safety of Japan in regards to your property. When I just came to Japan, I had a really big problem with losing things. Within the first 3 months, I lost my house key 3 times. Other than my house key, I also lost my phone once at the post office. Of course, no one would really steal a house key, but when I lost my phone, I was like, yo, what is going to happen? I was so stressed out because I know I couldn't operate in Japan without my phone because I don't speak the language. I don't know where anything is. So I traced my steps back to the post office, which is actually where I left the phone, and the lady told me that they sent it to the police station. I go to the police station. I had to fill out like 30 different forms because Japan is a paper city, bro. But after I filled out all those papers, they just gave me my phone back. Apparently someone found the phone at the post office, turned it into the worker, and then the worker turned it into the police station, and I got my phone back. Now when I'm a senpai in Japan, right, I'll be in 7-Eleven and I get tired of taking my purse because I'm lazy. So I'll just put it down, walk all over the store, come back, and it's still there. And it shocks me to this day because I know once I go back to Jamaica, either I'm going to experience serious reverse culture shock or I'm going to get robbed a lot. Okay, number 6. My 6th culture shock moment is still shocking me to this day. So Japan is a first world country, right? But they do not have online banking in most banks in Japan. Right now, I have my prefectural bank as well as JP Post Bank, and I don't have online banking for either of them. So if I want to send money home, I have to use a third-party app to send money to like America and then to Jamaica. I mean, there are other apps that I could use to send it directly to Jamaica, but I've had so many trouble with those apps, so then I started to do it this 3-way. Bro, you're a first world country. Why don't you have online banking? And other than online banking, another thing, ATMs have a closing time.
What did he say?
ATMs have a closing time. So for my prefectural bank, I think most ATMs close at 7 p.m. And if I go to 7-Eleven, which is like a 24-hour store, I think I can't use it after 9 p.m. Like, what the hell? I'm outside at like 12. I just spent my money and I'm trying to get drunk with my friends. I can't go get some money. Why do ATMs have a closing time? Also, in like the golden week period, the banks just close down altogether, so you have to like withdraw a lot of money before that time so you can have money, because the ATMs and everything just close down for like 3 days within that period. And other than that, most restaurants here and stores don't use like credit cards, and you don't have debit cards for Japan. It's literally just a cash card, and the only thing you can do with it is withdraw money. Is this a first world country? You know, I feel like this money section needs like a video by itself. So let's just move on to number 7. The public bath culture. Bro, my first time going to an onsen, that really shocked me. I don't know why I was thinking this, but I always thought like Japanese people were so conservative, so they always wear really long clothes, really baggy stuff. They don't want to show their body. So when I went to an onsen for the first time and they're like, oh yeah, it's a public bath, take your clothes off, everyone's gonna be naked, I'm like, the I was not ready at all. I walk into this onsen, everyone is naked and they're just so proud of their body, just walking around like nothing is happening. Meanwhile, I'm there trying to cover my titties and my little vajayjay area. I'm so scared just looking around, and everyone's like, I'm not gonna lie, people kind of tried to hide the fact that they were staring at me, because I mean, when I'm fully dressed, people stare. So when I'm naked, they're gonna stare. That public bath scene really was a culture shock moment for me. Like, wow. Now, I cannot go a winter without going to the onsen, because onsens are peng, bro. You need to visit one. Get comfortable with your body, take your clothes off, and just go do it like Nike. Okay, number 8. Everything is so tiny. When I'm washing dishes, I have to bend over like this to like be able to reach the sink. When I'm going through like the doors in my house, I have to like duck to be able to get in. Look at this. Can you see this little brown part? That's the top of the door. And when I stand, I'm as tall as that. Let me see if I can show you guys. That's the whole door. And I'm the same size as it. And I am only 5 feet 9 inches. That's a lot to be like only. But you guys know what I mean. And everything is just so tiny. I mean, Japanese furniture is more low to the ground. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, Western furniture is a lot higher. So that was a big culture shock moment for me. My back still hurts when I do the dishes, which is why I don't like doing them that much. And the bars that you will go to, sometimes there are only room for 4 people in an entire bar, because it's literally like a walk-in closet. The spaces that they use here are just so small. I'm always shocked by it. I'm like, how is this a thing? Anyway, number 9. There is no honking in Japan. If you hear someone honking, then maybe that's a foreigner. I remember this was the creepiest thing that has ever happened to me. I'm walking on the road, just minding my business in the middle of the road, but I think it was like a little side road, and it was about 12 p.m. at night. I guess that's why I was walking in the middle of the road, because Japan doesn't have a lot of street lights, so the place tends to be very dark but safe. Weird. Anyway, I'm walking in the middle of the road and this car was creeping up behind me. No headlights, nothing. Just going slow, no honking. I turn around, see this car, I'm shocked out of my mind. I'm so scared. I'm just like, because I'm not even gonna run, right? Because I was tired and a little bit drunk. I'm like, if this is my time, then it's just my time, bro. Anyway, it turns out that the car had turned their headlights off because they didn't want to shock me, and they don't honk because they don't want to shock you. So cars have a tendency to just creep up behind you. They're not gonna honk. I'm like, how will I know? Do I have eyes in the back of my head? How will I know if you don't honk? Okay, be quiet. Do you, Japan? Okay. And number 10 and the last culture shock moment. Definitely not the last one because I have so many more of these. But the last one for this video is a drinking culture. Japanese people will literally leave work at 5, go to the bar and be drunk by 6. You're walking home from work, they're just drunks laying around in full suits. So they're jacket, tie, shirt, fancy pants, fancy shoes, drunk and just laying on the ground like nothing is happening. I'm like,
What is happening here?
because this cannot be usual, right? That was one of the biggest culture shock moments for me, especially knowing Japanese people. You're like, this is weird, right? Anyway, guys, those are my top 10 culture shock moments when I moved to Japan. And I'm pretty sure that if I asked anyone else, they would have 10 culture shock moments of their own. So if you guys have any culture shock moments, please feel free to leave them in the comments below so we can all laugh together, honey. Thank you guys so much for watching. In our next video, I will be telling you guys how to deal with culture shock in Japan. So stay tuned for that one. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys. Mwah.